One little reason. Mary Kay coming up at 8:21 this morning, by the way. One little reason. Tone. Going back to Andre Szmyt. They changed the extra point rule in 2015 to make it longer, to make the distance 33 yards. College kickers are already not good anyway because they're college kickers. So you have some good ones, but you have a lot of not so good ones. However, when it comes to the NFL, I think it was kind of like when you had extra points, there was a thing where you can kind of go through the motions and all right, this is basically a practice in so many ways. Because you see the way
pressure.
The way guys stand, it was almost like a formality. There are some guys trying to go make a block here and there, but it was just we're going to stand here and all right, there he goes, and we're going off to the sidelines and let's get ourselves going again.
You'd get up and walk out of the room.
Yeah.
I wasn't even watching extra points.
And so it almost became like a practice, and now, if you miss an extra point, it always looms large. Mm-hmm. If you were at home, think about it, when Andre Szmyt missed that extra point on Sunday, the whole stadium and everybody at home goes, here we go. I'm sure this won't cost us. Everybody had that thought. And you got to think if you're the kicker, you can go, I'm fine. We'll put it away. I'm fine. I don't think so. And so, extra point is 33 yards. He missed a 36-yarder, if I'm not mistaken. God, it's point blank, it feels. Good God, just hit it. But I think that might mess with these guys' psyche.
Do you wish they'd go back?
No.
I do.
No, it's more entertaining the way it is.
I hate.
An overall entertainment.
And I said it at the time, too, so I've been consistent throughout on this. I hate that in this game that we love, we gave an outsized amount of weight on their every kicks, and we made them even more important by doing this, especially considering how we've talked about them since Monday. How have we talked about them? We've debated whether or not the coach should talk to them. If we're debating whether or not they're even a real football player, why do we want them to have more power? Why do we want them to sway the games?
I don't know. But first off, you said you want entertainment back on Monday. The extra points being longer is more entertaining. Missing extra points, the intrigue of missing an extra point, the possibility where it's they just scored this touchdown. It's 24-23, no time left on the clock. They could tie the before it was like a formality where it's was it John Carney who pushed the one, or was it Steve Carsey? No, it's not Steve Carsey. John Carney, I think, might have pushed one, but I'm not sure. You have every now and then a great, great, great few and far between. There would be an extra point that got pushed. But now, 24-23, last second, you got a field goal you got to hit. Mm-hmm. You better hit this extra point.
It is. Without that,
so
you're
I
right.
think it makes it more entertaining.
It is absolutely.
It's more frustrating, though.
It's absolutely more entertaining. The question is this where we want the entertainment? Do we want it on the kicker?
Well, you just hate kicking.
Want it?
You hate any form of kicking.
Or would we rather have it be the quarterback, the running back, the wide receiver, the corner? You know what I mean? That's the part that has bothered me since they changed the rule.
I think it's bothered you since the beginning of the show. Is with that rule change and everything that's gone on. You don't like kicking. Let's just be honest. You don't like kickoffs. You don't like punts. You don't like field goals. I mean, you've made arguments before during Summer Hack Topics about getting rid of kicking in the game, even though the game's called football. Not make it take it ball.
I heard somebody, I wish I could give him credit. I heard somebody the other day saying, things change in sports, and then we wonder, why were we doing this a certain way the entire time? We changed college football drastically. We went to a big-time playoff. 10 years from now, we're going to be going, can you believe we didn't have a playoff ever? If they just took kicking out of football in 10 years, would people be going, we need kickers back in the league?
But I think I don't
think we would.
It adds.
I think we'd be awesome. We have teams. We have more plays where the quarterback impacts the game, not the kicker.
I think it adds more intrigue to the game, though. I think it adds more of you don't know what's necessarily going to happen here. It can go either way. Kicking is a wild, wild strategy. There were people going, I can't wait until they build that dome, and then they don't have to deal with the wins anymore. You watch. We're going to have a kicker problem in 2029.
Oh, God.
We'll have a good football team with Lenore Sellers as our quarterback, and we're going to be going, I can't believe we lost because of another different kicker.
I can give you takeaway kickoffs, right? That's not, it's still a scoring opportunity, but it's not every play's a scoring opportunity. But field goals are actual scoring opportunities. I mean, you're not kicking a field goal unless the result of the play is either points on the board not points on the board, right? Mm-hmm. I can see how you could want to get rid of kickoffs and just get the game rolling, get the game going along. But I think kicking still is because it is every time it's a scoring opportunity. Punting is not one of those things, right? Maybe you get rid of punting too. I mean, they do it in little kids because kids can't punt yet, right? So
right.
they just walk it off.
The fields.
They say,
not in our league.
They just say, well, it's a set amount of yards or whatever, and walk it off.
Real quick to your point about kickoffs, big change week one compared to last year's week one. It went from 50% of the kicks will return in week one to 75.6%. So there was a real their rule change absolutely changed it to make it a more entertaining play.
Well, and teams are starting to see that the metric is, hey, let's make them return it on us instead of just giving them the yardage, right?
They walk off punts in your league?
Yeah.
So how does that work?
I don't punt.
They walked off punts in your league.
It's 25 yards.
Oh, okay.
They don't walk off punts in our league.
I don't do it. It's a wasted play. This is developmental time.
You don't want to develop the punter?
Not when it's 4th and 20 and we're at our own 21,
We
Owen.
don't punt.
Develop the punters.
And you're the one running the defense. It's not a wasted play.
We'll arm punt it if we need to.
It's not a wasted play. I'd rather not have to play defense in our own red zone to start the football game.
I got a novel thought for you, Ken. Maybe go get some yards.
Just go get some yards the old-fashioned way.
I don't run the offense, bub. That's a conversation for somebody else. But I know they're listening, so they're more than welcome to call you up at 216-474-0092. But you got to go through Mitch first. All right, Jim and Perry, you're first up with the fan, and then I got to bring up the Andrew Berry thing. Go ahead there, Jim.
Good morning, guys.
Hi.
So I absolutely hate them moving the PAT attempt back, because I think you have a game where you have millions of dollars worth of players on the field, some of the best athletes in the world, and you're going to get a game come down to a kicker making $500,000 because he can't make a 30-yard kick. Just move the 1-point conversion to the 2, and then if you want to go for 2, move it back to the 5. I have literally never said, hey, look at that kicker. Like,
even
you know
Dicker?
What I mean?
Even Dicker the kicker?
I disagree. I mean, Phil Dawson is beloved here mostly because we weren't very good and he was the only offense we had.
I was about to say, he was beloved here. He's a kicker.
But, Jim, there's plenty of $500,000, $600,000 cornerbacks who end up playing in Week 13 that cost plenty of people games.
That's why I'd let the kickers gamble. Let them make some more money on the side.
Okay, well.
Let's really spruce up the kicks.
Can you imagine?
Reckless speculation.
Let this play out so we don't get sued, please. Thank you.
Oh, my God.
Can you imagine in a couple of years, like, let's say we are good, we go to the playoffs, and we don't, like, second quarter, we score a touchdown, we don't make the kick. Can you imagine losing by 1 point?
Well, that is how we're going to lose.
I can.
That's exactly how we're going to
I can't imagine any way you could lose. I can imagine us losing that way, Jim. Thank you very much for the call.
We already know the script. We're going to lose. That's exactly how we're going to lose the AFC Championship game.
I mean, my whole childhood was based on what happened when I was either a small child or before I was born, and the way they lost those games. I can imagine any way they possibly could lose. Yes. I'm sorry. Mary Kay coming up at 8:22. Lima, rookies played well on Sunday.
Yes, they did.
Played real well. What does this draft class, or what could this draft class do for Andrew Berry's reputation, if anything?
Yeah, I thought about this a lot.
Please.
Because this was the rare class even I was excited about before they played a down of football. So I was like, whoa, all right. Gave Andrew Berry some top draft picks that weren't traded away, and it looks like he might actually have a chance. And this is, by the way, Mason Graham has not really been a big topic of discussion. We're going to let the all-22 nitty-gritty football analysts break it down. But, Kenny, you saw some good stuff out of him in the second half. Mm-hmm. Certainly, especially down by the goal line. Yeah. Joe Burrow had no chance.
I didn't see anything that was really concerning.
Yeah.
Now,
just the first drive people brought up. But
DeJuan Jones, third-year player, there's a chart going around, but they count the holding calls, and I thought the one holding call wasn't really a holding call. I thought it was on somebody, but either way, they counted against us, so his chart's not really that great. But, I like DeJuan, and I like to make excuses for him, so maybe I'm going to find a point in the season where I can't make excuses for him. Hopefully, it doesn't come to that. Go ahead.
And Schlesinger was awesome, obviously.
Great. Cat's ass whole game.
Samson, I don't think in his career he'll ever get the amount of touches that he got in week one. I think circumstances dictated that. But you saw a nice spark. And in fact, people keep talking about him making guys miss. How about him after contact moving piles forward? Like, I didn't see that necessarily happening. That wasn't a part of his draft profile. So I think part of that is really exciting. So I think this might be the draft. We're 1 week in, and who knows? Going to be injuries and everything.
Do you think it makes a difference to the fans, though?
I do, yeah.
I think it could be too little too late for the fans.
Well, this is what I'm getting to. I do wonder because Kevin Stefanski and how he directs an offense, that's a big part of him as head coach, right? But it's only one part of it. When you look at the totality, when you look at the big picture, how is Kevin Stefanski as a coach? We talk about how he's dealt with, various quarterbacking situations that have handicapped him. How has he done with it? How has he done it with this guy? How has he done it with that guy? How many different quarterbacks has he won games with? What was he able to do with Joe Flacco? But all of that is just one aspect of being a head coach. Same as Andrew Berry. One aspect of Andrew Berry as a GM is drafting players. But in the end, what we are going to say when it comes to Andrew Berry is, how do we feel about you as a GM? You're running the organization. It's you. I know Paul DePodesta, whatever, but it's you. It's your organization. And that's why I still think wins and losses are going to matter for him this year.
So how many, wait a minute. So now we get back to the old question of how many wins do they have to get to where he's safe? If you get to 7 wins, I think everybody's safe.
Listen, guys, his rookie class could be really good, and they could still lose a crap ton of games.
But if they win like 5 games, I don't think he's safe. I think that a lot of people are going to look
either.
At least certainly not with the fans, because I think a lot of people, and this is a rash generalization, so this is going to sound unfair to some people, and it is, because that's what fans do, is I get you had one good rookie class. That's 1 out of 6. That's what they're going to say. I still don't trust you.
Yeah, odds are probably against him hitting the next class.
They will say, I'm glad you got lucky. Now let's get somebody in here who knows what they're doing. That's exactly what's going to be said.
And I think
it's too little too late with the fan base
Kenny, here. I point to his predecessor. John Dorsey, in 2 different stops, showed he could pick some damn good players.
He did.
Some all-time players.
But there were more. See, I don't know what the hit rate has to be. And he lost his job
in 2 different spots.
He made a terrible mistake because he just wanted too much power. He wanted to control everything. And when you put Freddie Kitchens in charge, that's what he wanted, and boy, that's what he got.
That's another aspect.
It ended up being a tremendous mess.
Kenny, that's another aspect of being a GM.
If he did not hire Freddie Kitchens, then I think maybe John Dorsey would still be in charge with the Cleveland Browns for crying out loud, and Baker Mayfield would probably still be here.
Yeah.
And we would be having some of the conversations that we've had over the last 4 years, and my hair would be a lot blonder than gray at what it is right now. But let me point this out, that even John Dorsey, there will be critics who go, hey, you know what? You still took Chad Thomas, who is much more interested in being Rick Rubin than he was ever being John Randall. You also had a guy that he took in Kansas City that he had to cut in the 3rd round.
But the hits were bigger.
After the draft.
Hits were 10 times bigger.
But you're exactly right. You're exactly 100% right. You're 100% right about that. The hits are bigger. He's known for success. He's known for drafting good players.
In 2 spots.
Andrew, I could give you everything I could about wide receiver trades and getting value back
some
on
have been
things.
good, some have been bad.
Quarterbacks as currency. But all that really sounds like is excuses because the Browns haven't been that great. All it sounds like is excuses about why people should stay employed instead of bona fide results. That's what fans are interested in, and that's what fans have been so frustrated with over these last few years, is that I keep hearing about process, and I keep hearing about things that don't matter because the scoreboard says differently at the end. So, yeah, you only win 5 games, or I might even say 7 games. Depending on who's playing QB, depending on who's winning, who you win against, when you win, all those things are a part of that equation. But if you win and you're still under 500, there's going to be plenty of people who go, great, you got lucky in one class. Goodbye. It's the way they're going to feel. And after 6 seasons, can I fault them for that?
That's been a long time.
Steve, in the end of all this, you do believe you can develop a kicker.
Here's what I'll say about that. I don't understand, in a league where everything is decided on the margins, why are there not kicking specialists on every NFL coaching staff across the league? I'm not trying to knock Bubba. What does Bubba know about kicking field goals? What does Mike Prefer know about kicking field goals? In Baltimore, to my knowledge, Baltimore is the only one that had sort of a kicking specialist on staff. The Browns field goal kicking and extra points since 2020 is the worst in the league. Kevin's record in 1-score games with no missed kicks, 15-6. When they have a missed kick, it's 8-15. Mm-hmm. How much better would the Browns record be over the last 5 years with just a little bit better kicking? Not even elite, not even like Justin Tucker before he went crazy, but just middle of the pack.
Should we get a kicking specialist then?
Let's go. Why not?
Can you develop a kicker? I want to know. And if you believe you can, how do you do that? I want to know. Somebody tell me.
Wouldn't that be something only people that understand the intricacies of the kicking world?
That's precisely why you need a kicking specialist to answer all of these questions.
Then where is the kicking specialist?
It does sound like Bubba Ventrone's the guy.
Where are the kicking specialists at? Where have all the kicking specialists gone? I need to know. I really hope. I had a little bit of a fantasy during the break.
A kicking fantasy.
I had a kicking fantasy, I swear to go.
Oh, spicy.
I was sitting there staring at the computer looking at some of the stuff. And
Is it tea involved?
No. And I thought, I can imagine a world where Andre Szmyt lines up a 47-yarder on Sunday and hits that field goal. Record this and be ready to pre-play it. I imagine Sunday where Andre Szmyt lines up, kicks a 47-yarder to win it, and then it's all, hey, I had faith in him the entire time. And like trying to make a joke. Because I think that now that people know that, hey, they're going to hold on to him and they're not going to move on, there's definitely well-meaning Browns fans out there. And it's not that, like, some people get all, because the wildly cynical get involved here and they go, you guys are a bunch of sheep. You're a bunch of idiots. No. You convince yourself as time goes on, because you probably played sports, you convince yourself as the week goes on that when you're going up against a big opponent that you are a double-digit underdog yet, that you're going to convince yourself that there's a way to win the game. That's fine. That's what makes you a fan. That's what makes you listen to this and do all this. And I'm starting to see a little bit of it in the best intentions of even the media out there, where it's like, well, it's kind of crazy to cut a kicker after 1 week. It's not necessarily the biggest thing, or the most done thing. I don't think it's that crazy in 2025 anymore. But they didn't cut the guy. Okay, fine. Just hit the kicks. Because the difference in developing a kicker is whether or not he hits the kicks. So if he goes, think about this. So he missed an extra point and a field goal. So he was 2 for 4 on Sunday, right? If he's 3 for 4, but he misses the biggest field goal of the afternoon, the last one, has he been developed? Is he developing? He's 3 for 4. Last week he was 50%. Now he's more than that. That's developing. Yeah. How will you feel?
The only question I would have, though, if we would operate, I know you've calmed down some of the language since Monday, but if every team everywhere operated...
Well, what was the language? I didn't call him a bad guy. I just said I would move on from him.
Yeah, you said you'd move on to him. Okay. Why? Because you said it was a make-or-miss league.
It was a make-or-miss league,
And because what? There was no prior record, right? There was no established success before in the NFL. But if every team operated the way that you were talking on Monday, no kicker could ever have an established record unless they made them all right out of the gate. Like, you would weed out all the guys that would miss to start out their career. They'd all be weeded out. They'd lose their jobs. We wouldn't have enough kickers.
That's a good point. It's a very good point.
Well, they weed them back in eventually.
Yeah, we weed them back in.
Okay.
Yeah, because you
weed them out, you weed them in.
Think about that.
It's a weed them out or weed them in league.
Well, if we're just going to make little gags with each other, then we're not going to get anything
I'm
done.
being serious.
Well, hold on.
Don't weed my gags out.
Dustin, think about this. Dustin Hopkins, did he or did he not weed himself out? He weeded himself out.
He did.
And then what did he do? We gave him a chance in. He weeded himself back in. And then he weeded himself out. Do you or do you not believe?
We're bringing him back in. Let's go.
Dustin Hopkins is never going to kick in the NFL again? Really? He'll get a chance to kick in the NFL again. I can almost guarantee you he'll get a chance to kick in the NFL again. So it would happen where, yeah, a guy's first stop, maybe it's his only stop, but maybe the third stop's the charm. That's what makes it so frustrating.
Hopkins is 34 years old. When is the shelf life of a kicker? When do they go downhill?
No idea. Some guys kick into their 40s.
Yeah.
216.
Into their 50s.
216.
Wasn't it Blanda?
George Blanda wasn't 50. He just looked old.
Wasn't he 60?
It was a different time.
It says here, George Blanda was 27. No, I don't know.
Why am I looking up George Blanda's age?
Because it matters.
Well, he's dead. He's been dead for a while, but I mean, when he retired. Kevin in Westlake, while I look up George Blanda real quick.
He was 48 years old when he retired.
You serious? Yes. What a career.
Just shy of
That's why he's a Hall of Famer. That's why he's a Hall of Famer. And he did great truck commercials.
He looks like he's in his 80s in his last game.
Kevin, go ahead.
Hey, to your point, you don't develop kickers in the NFL. You got to have something going into it. I sent you an article on the Szmyt kid. He went to how he recruited a kid at Syracuse. They had coaching changes, holder changes, long snapper changes. The kid was a mess. He went up to a John Carney camp who greatly recommended this kid. He finally got Bob Lugaseffi, who's an NFL coach now at Syracuse. And all of a sudden, the kid has a great year at Syracuse. So it sounds like they did their homework. The kid has the ability, and they probably do need to give him another chance to see if he can get it done or not. So you don't bring guys into the NFL. It's not a farm league. It's kickers. You better have some innate abilities when you go in there, size, speed, and strength. And then you have to have the right situation.
That's a good answer.
See what happens.
That's the answer. See, that's what I was looking for.
I kind of
Kevin,
feel like you could be their kicking specialist, Kevin.
Well, I had to let him go. I'm sorry because I got to.
John Carney is 61 years old. Could he kick for the Browns this week?
But what Kevin said is right. You go honestly. You're probably going from what he did in college and everything, and you're going, well, we're going to take our chance on this guy. Developing is out the window.
El Del Greco.
That's probably the best answer.
Chip Low-Miller.
We're going to take our chance on this guy, and he's going to go out there, and we'll see if he hits him. And if he doesn't, we'll find somebody else.
First game I ever went to,
so it's still
Matt Barr hit the game winner for the Cleveland Browns against the Denver Broncos.
Okay, great. So when you still break it down, it is still same principle as what I said on Monday. You either have faith he's going to hit the kick or you don't have faith he's going to hit the kick. Developing, schmeloping.
Did I see over the weekend a Grammatica kid? I swear to God I saw a Grammatica kid as a kicker in college football.
Kids.
That was one situation where, you know what? Being overly confident and talking trash really got in your own way, did it not? Reggie and
Nico Grammatica.
USF.
Oh, my God.
USF, he's a freshman.
Get him in here.
Get nothing done here.
Get Grammatica in here.
He's in college.
Some would say he's Automatica.
Reggie, hello.
How you doing, guys?
I mean, I'm doing okay. I haven't got his attention in like an hour, so he's just assing off. Who knows what he's doing over there? Go ahead, Reggie.
I have a theory on this, and I believe that it can be just because I spent 10 years in the Army, okay? And I have and in the Army we had a saying where you train how you fight and you fight how you train. And it's the same premise in football. You practice how you play and you play how you practice. So what you do for the kicker is you take the kicker, you put him in the stadium, and you put him on the goal line or wherever it is that you want him to kick field goals from or extra points or whatever it is, and you make him kick it at least once a week. Put him in different scenarios, put him on different hash marks, and you make him kick those field goals or extra points or whatever it is in different spots. That's how you develop him. That's how you get him better. You put a set of headphones on him and pipe stadium music into his head and put him in different situations where he has to deal with the crowd noise as well. That, I think, would work.
It just, in so many ways, it feels almost like a hazing ritual for a frat. Like, I got to do all these crazy things to him to make him mentally tougher to go ahead and do it. Like, oh, God. I swear to God, I'd rather my kid play any position than kicker. Think about that, Reggie. And Reggie, it's not the worst idea I've ever heard, and I think it's what Lima wanted to do originally during training camp. And I think there's a lot of people who would agree with you, Reggie.
Lima wanted to pack
Thank you for the call. Yeah, Lima wanted to pack the stadium.
I wanted to have kicking competition night at the stadium.
It's insane. Why would anybody want their kid to be a kicker? Why? Why would you ever want that? That type of pressure? I mean, that's abuse. Why would you want them to be a kicker? Nuts.
Who is more of a football player, the long snapper or the kicker?
The long snapper makes tackles on every play.
Yeah, the long snapper goes down there and
they got a block.
It's every time
or the middle gunner.
Every time a long snapper goes down there and they are the middle gunner and they like just go down there and deck somebody, I always like, well, that's not fair. The long snapper going down there and Patrick Manley going down there and decking somebody, I go, well, no one's allowed to even be on him. So I mean,
it's
just
a free
not
shot.
Fair. It's just not fair.